Good morning, everyone. Good day to everyone. So today I'm going to discuss how do we analyze demographic characteristics. Demographic characteristics is the personal information of the respondent. So it could be age, gender, civil status, occupation. Demographic is different from socioeconomic because socioeconomic will refer to your income, your um, uh, most usually it talks about money and how you deal with the economy. So for today's discussion, I'm just going to discuss how do we deal or how do we analyze demographic characteristics. If you're doing your research, most of the time the first objective will talk about establishing demographic characteristics. And usually if you're students, the usual questions or the usual variable that you need to gather is only the age, gender, civil status, and occupation. But how do you analyze that? Usually, since this is a nominal data, you will be just doing a frequency and percentages. We already know that is common. Frequency is just the count and percentages is just the percentage. Like count over the total times 100. So that is the percentage. So how do we run that um, in the movie? So I have here again the SPSS, the Stata, the movie, and then the R. So for my YouTube video, I am just going to use the movie application. And the movie application is a free software that you can use, especially if you are new to research. So how do you analyze the demographic characteristics in here? So before running the movie application, you need first to look at your data. Again, demographic characteristics and is analyzed using frequencies and percentages. If you have watched my previous videos, the data should look like this. The column heading should be in the first row because the statistical software is gonna read your column heading in the first row. So if we add another row here, there would be a miscommunication with your Jamovie application because the Jamovie application or even other statistical software, they will read the column heading which is in the first row. So you need to delete this one and make sure that your column heading is in the first row of your data. So here I also have the data analysis where I coded the age. So since here the age is not yet coded and it is in ratio scale of measurement, we're not going to use this one in frequencies and percentages. You need to group this one according to your groupings. So here we have the sex assigned at birth because um, people nowadays change their sex after a certain age. And for the sex here, we have just determined two, female and male. And occupation is we have determined here employed, freelance, retired. This one is identified by my client. But if I'm going to analyze this one, the students and unemployed will be same because since they're student and they're unemployed, usually they have the same economic status. And also here, the employed in the government and employed will be in one group. But this is just for the benefit of the discussion on how to analyze the demographic characteristics. And we have here the nationality. This is really good because there are a lot of nationality because this study talks about a tour package. And yes, if you go to a tour, there are other nationality who will also answer your questionnaire. And the marital status is divorced, married, single, and widowed. So if I'm going to analyze this one, divorced and widowed will be of the same group for me. And we have here the type of travel. They travel by couple, by group, and by solo. So how do you analyze this one in the movie application? You first need to close the Excel file. And make sure again that you are in the right sheet, because the Jamovie will read the recent sheet that you have checked. So you click this three horizontal line, and then you click the word import, and you click the word browse, and it will lead you to your folder. You need to locate your folder. In my case, my folder is in here, demographic characteristic folder, because I am intending this one for my YouTube video. And then click the Excel, and it will navigate you to your data, the recent one. So because A and B and C column are a default, so you just need to delete that one, and make sure that you will save this one in the right folder. And demographic. Why do you need to save your project? Because in case you have a not so good laptop, and there would be technicality, so it would be easy for you to retrieve your project. So we have here the demographic characteristic already. So you need to go to this one, this tab, the frequency, and then you click the two outcomes, and then all you need to do is to put the variables that you want to be included in your demographic characteristics. So for this case, we will put the variables sex assigned at birth, occupation, nationality, marital status, and type of travel. Then you put it here. Then the Jamovie will give you an outcome. So for the frequency, you will be using the count, and for the percentages, you will be using the proportion. So we have here proportion is you can use this one as percentage. Yes, this one is percentage. You just multiply by 10, or you move the decimal places to the right two times, so you will have 68.1%. So again, for my student, I require them to submit to output the statistical output. This is the copy pasted statistical out. This is the copy pasted result of the software. So this one, you just need to right click this one, and it will highlight the result, and then you copy, and then you paste it in your statistical software output. So you need to put statistical, and then you paste it. Once you paste it, it will automatically let you have the count and the proportion. So the count and the proportion, you can use that for your first objective, which is the demographic characteristics. Now, um, how do you present it in your results and discussion? So there are two ways. This one is not really the one we run, but I will give you this one as an example. So you can present it by graphical. We have here the pie graph and bar chart, and also the pie graph. So usually you use pie graph if there is just a two groups or three, four groups. But if there are a lot of groups, like for example, the nationality, you can use this one, especially if the responses is multiple response. So you can use the bar charts. But this is just an example of a graphical presentation of your demographic characteristic or demographic profile. And this is how you also discuss it. You first discuss the highest one, and then followed by the lowest one. Example here, the highest is the Gen Z. So it is majority of the workers are in Gen Z, followed by millennials. So this is how you will discuss. And here in the bar chart, you need to discuss first the highest, and then followed, and then followed, and then you discuss the few, and then you put the percentage in the open and close parentheses. So that's how you will discuss it using the graphical presentation. Actually, you also do that when it comes to um, tabulated. So I have here the tabulated one. This tabulated one is similar to the one we used earlier, the data we used earlier. So we have here the sex female, male, but the nationality, as I have told you, I will categorize it for Filipino and foreigners. So here I put Filipino as the highest because yep, they're the highest percentage. If we compare it to our statistical software here, we can see that the Filipino has 194, and I categorize all the nationality into one as foreigners. But this one would you need to refer this one to your advisor or to your RRL. Um, but for me, I guess all the foreigners are same when it comes to being a tourist. So even us, if we see a foreigner, we always call them like American, even though they are not American. So I consider them as one. So for the nationality, we have the Filipino and foreigners, and for marital status, we have the single, married, divorced, and separated. I consider that one along with the widow. And here the age is I coded that one here because my client asked me to code it by this group. So we have here the highest is 18 to 24 years old because usually are students. So we have here the type of travel, usually are in group, the student and employee, you see. And how you will discuss that one. So you will just discuss by variable. So by sex, we have here more female than male, almost three-fourths of the travel. So this is an example on how you will discuss your demographic characteristics. So I hope you have learned something from today's discussion about how do we analyze the demographic characteristics given with your first objectives. Thank you again, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.